So it's going to be about 15 minutes long. And he went, we'll see.
Oh, my God.
And at that point, I went, oh, fuck me, this is going to be hard.
You had many moments where you've looked back and gone, why did I say that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was interviewing, although I'd still argue that this isn't my fault. I was interviewing Nicole Kidman for, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Australia, the one with Hugh Jackman. Yeah. So I was interviewing her for that. And I think it got lost in translation in some way. I think words mean different things to certain people or maybe in like different countries. In that movie, she's in period dress and she is wearing what I describe as a corset. So I said to her on stage, I was like, so obviously you said yes to this movie. You'd worked with Baz Luhrmann, the director, before when it was 100 degrees and you were wearing a corset. I mean, did you ever think, oh, I wish I'd thought about it a bit longer? And she went, what? I went, when you were wearing a corset and it was 100 degrees, did you ever sort of question your decision? She was like, I didn't wear a corset in this. I was like, what? No, the thing that you were wearing. She was like, are you saying I wore a corset in this movie? I'm like, I think you did. And she went, Baz, and grabs the microphone off me and starts shouting across Leicester Square to the director, Baz Luhrmann, Baz, come here and tell this man I didn't wear a corset in the movie. And at that point, I just had my head in my hands going, because everyone can hear it. It's echoing around the square. Baz. Yeah. Come here. Tell this man. I'm like, what is happening? But I think...
So this is on stage?
This is on stage. This is live in Leicester Square.
So was she wearing a corset?
I guess maybe it's a bodice. Now that's all I can think. But it's a fucking corset.
Yeah, fucking hell. Do you get nervous when you interview people like that?
Yes, it's the honest answer. Yes, I mean normally it's all sort of it's all lovely. You know, it's rainbows and unicorns and everything's fine. But occasionally you are walking into a situation, and there are certain people who are notoriously difficult to interview. So just last year I had to do an interview with Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker.
Wow,
who is. He's a scary person. He's not a scary. He is a scary. I don't know why. He is a scary person. He's a terrifying person to interview.
He seems like a lot of hard work.
He's intense, and he's very thoughtful, and I don't begrudge him any of that because that's who he is. But as an interviewer, that's pretty scary. And when I sat down to interview him, I think he got it into his head that maybe we were a news outlet like Sky News or something, and he thought it was going to be because there was a lot going on about the Joker and how it was going to inspire gun crime and all sorts.
Oh, so he thought you were going to do like a hit piece or something? Yeah.
So he was really. So I was like, "Have you told him that we're not those people?" And they're like, "Yeah." But just if it's a bit weird at the start, that's why. I'm like, "Fucking A, great." So he sits down. And I'm like, just so you know, Joaquin, this is all about the movies. We're a movie channel, Sky Cinema, or movies, whatever you fancy, Joaquin. It's up to you. It's just about movies. He's like, all right, yeah, cool. I'm like, great. So it's going to be about 15 minutes long. And he went, we'll see.
Oh, my God.
And at that point, I went, oh, fuck me, this is going to be hard. But actually, he was fine in the end. It was just, of all the things, of all the people who could be... It's going to be 15 minutes, 15 lovely minutes, Joaquin. Yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know.
Oh, my God. See, that's when I would have crumbled. I've only ever done one press junket, and I don't know why I got given the job or what. It was actually just for a mate, really. And it was for TED 2.
Okay.
And I mean, you've done 100 of these things, so you know exactly how they work. But I had 5 minutes with 4 of the actors, and the first one was Mark Wahlberg, and it was the one I didn't want first because I was like, I want to warm up. So I imagine Seth MacFarlane's going to be nice. I'll get him done, and then I'll get to Mark Wahlberg. And I walked in as like, when was this? About 4 years ago. This sweaty ginger lad, and they were like, you get 30 seconds to say hello and 30 seconds afterwards, but you get the 5 minutes in the middle. And I went, Mark, nice to meet you. Just quick chat. Standard stuff. And he was like, yeah, no worries. And then they were like, right, you go. We're on camera. And I went, Mark, lovely to meet you. And I outstretched my hand, and he just looked at me, didn't put his hand out, and just went, but we already shook hands already.
How you doing, you alright?
Yeah, we shook hands already.
Oh, yeah, I know, but it wasn't on camera, was it? I've got to get that on camera, got to get nice.
No more touching.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm not equipped to deal with this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a YouTuber who's been fucking sat here. And then somebody else asked me if I would ask... her name's just escaped me, Fee. Amanda Seyfried. Yeah. Have you heard about her tattoo that she's got?
No.
So she has a tattoo of the word minge on her foot. So one of my mates just basically said that you wouldn't be doing your job if you didn't say, "Can I see your minge?" So I wouldn't do it now. I've learned mistakes. I've learned from you know about this, don't you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think whether you've been invited to do any other press junkets.
One and done. But yeah, no. So I sat down and I'd researched it. She'd been asked it before and she was fine. So I was like, it's probably going to be fine, but it will score me a lot of points with my mate. So I'm going to do it. But I forgot that all the camera guys in the room, they don't know what you're gonna say. So I've just gone, Amanda, is it okay if I can see you minge? And I've just heard people go, what? Like, what's going on? And she's looked at me for what seemed like an eternity, and then she showed me the tattoo on her foot.
Question you might get all the time, but I'm dying to know. Can I see your minge?
Yeah.
Tattoo.
Have you give us some horror stories? You don't have to name anyone, Alex. You don't have to name anyone. You're still in the game, but
sometimes you have strange experiences with people who you think are going to be great. I mean, like, often it's not them. Like with Amanda Seyfried, weirdly enough, we were doing an interview for what was it? Was it Les Miserables? And she was like, because we do a massive setup at Sky with a camera that tracks round and it's a wide shot. And she wanted to wear a coat. She was like, it's cold in here. Can I wear my coat? And my producer went, I'm sorry, we've got a wide shot. So it won't look great if you've got your coat on or over your knees or anything. And her PR just shouts from the back of the room, if Amanda wants to wear a coat, she's going to wear a fucking coat.
Oh, God.
But again, that's not her. And it's often the people who surround these people that you like, you make them look worse.
Yeah, they get sort of, what is the word, mollycoddled or something?
Mollycoddled.
Yeah. One of my first ever interviews I did was with Leona Lewis, and I was shitting myself for that. I was probably about 19, something like that. And I remember I got to the YouTube studio place where we were doing it, and they were like, can we see your questions? So I handed her manager the question, and she just took out a pen and just went, no. Left me for about 2, and I was about to do the interview. So I just went in and just asked all the questions anyway. So I've got nothing else, so I'm just going to do it. And she was absolutely fine. So, I can see.
It's often the way. It's weird sometimes. There's one big A-list actor who when I've done him at premieres, and when you do him, he's the only one I've ever had this with where you have to send the questions in advance. He won't do an interview on stage. And these are little silly questions, It's a premiere, so they're very, not silly questions, but they're very light. Like, what was it like working with so-and-so? What can fans expect from the movie? Very basic stuff. But he has to have them in a list beforehand, and he wants to know what they are, and you have to read them in that order because he works out all his answers beforehand. He cannot answer spontaneously.
Wow.
And so he comes out and he walks on stage, and he's a big star, so I'm like, right, I got this, just going to ask those questions. And he comes on, and before I asked the first question, I went, how are you? And he looked fucking livid. That wasn't on the list. Wow. How are you wasn't on the list. And he was like, and I was like, oh, come on. Yeah. How are you? I didn't need to write that
Improv
on the list.